My honor and pleasure to introduce the guest of today, Dr. Radhakrishnan Pillai. Dr. Radhakrishnan Pillai is rated as India's #1 best-selling business author with 21 books to his credit and the 22nd release just today on Chanakya's 100 Best Sutras. Right? And the distinct element is that, with each of his book, he adds a new walk of life that is connected to Chanakya, right from corporate honchos to teachers to students to children. He has managed to bring Chanakya into every walk of life. He's the founder and director of Chanakya International Institute of Leadership at the University of Mumbai. This institute is created with offering the world's first postgraduate academic program in leadership. The research and outcome is helping students and leaders across the globe. He also teaches in various universities and institutions as a visiting faculty with over 1,000 guest lectures to his credit. And the institutes are of global repute that include IITs, IIMs, IISc, Reserve Bank of India, Bombay Stock Exchange, National Stock Exchange, etc. And if I can say, I was present in his talk in IISc, I think almost 12 years back, sir. And I distinctly remember his point on leadership, where he quoted Lord Rama and said, "A good leader can win the war even with the help of monkeys." Right? So that's something I distinctly remember from the talk. So he has been a leadership and strategy advisor to over 500 organizations, including various corporations, government and non-government organizations, and these include Indian Oil Corporation, HPCL, BPCL, Tata Group of Companies, Reliance Industries, Aditya Birla Group, Mahindra and Mahindra, Indian Army, Navy, Air Force, police academies, etc. He's a recipient of many international and national awards. Some of them include Avishkar Research Award, International Yoga Day Organizer Award, Sardar Patel International Award for Contribution to Industrial Development, Rotary International Award in the field of education, Lokmat Award for the Best Teacher of Philosophy, Litofest Award received at the House of Lords in British Parliament. He's been a part of various national and international projects of Government of India, including first International Yoga Day Academic Conference organized in USA by Indian Council of Cultural Relations and Consulate General of New York as the chief convener. Also, he participated and presented papers in various conferences and seminars over 20 countries, and he's rated among the top 50 management thinkers from India by thinkers50.com. A warm welcome to you, sir.
A warm good afternoon. Thank you so much. I've been told that this is the first interaction we are going to have together, but let me tell you, not the last. If you like it, go to my LinkedIn and post whatever, likes or dislikes. How many of you are on LinkedIn? How many are not in LinkedIn? Start from today. How many of you are on Instagram? Most of you? Remember, you are going for a professional course. Your journey is from Instagram to LinkedIn and beyond. I will be giving you a lot of homeworks, but I will not be taking any exams. And my homeworks are liked by the students because I will tell you what videos to see, which web series to watch, and which social media to be active on. So the first homework is join LinkedIn. And remember one thing, if you are already on LinkedIn, it is not just a social media platform for likes or comments. It can build your career. I hope you know this. Just look at your role models who are living today. Let's say some of you who want to maybe master in the technology field, just give an example. Or somebody who's be interested in automobile or healthcare. You decide, whatever your field. Just think of a living legend of that field. For example, if I have to look at automobile field in India, for me, my role model is Anand Mahindra. Okay? Just my role model, yours can be different. If you look at, let's say, IT, for me, my role model is Bill Gates. May not be yours. Surprisingly, all of them are active on LinkedIn. I hope you know this. And you'll be surprised, they don't use it as a communication tool. They tell you the best strategies that are being used in that field. So what you're going to learn in the textbooks and the classrooms are very important, but what you learn by the leaders of those fields on LinkedIn is more important. I'll give a simple example. Who is Bill Gates' role model? Since I know it is Warren Buffett. Heard about him? 3 days ago, it was Warren Buffett's birthday, 92nd birthday. Anybody follows Warren Buffett? And what did Bill Gates do? Surprisingly, what we do? Create a happy birthday video for him. Imagine Bill Gates creating a happy birthday video for Warren Buffett and posted on LinkedIn. And the moment he posts, in half a second, I get a notification. Good or bad? Please understand, it is not about wearing the next dress and taking a selfie and posting it on Instagram, okay? But you'll be surprised, Bill Gates also tells about the books that he reads. Best practices in Microsoft and beyond. Why am I telling you this? Because I want to keep this particular session of mine interesting and interactive. Two things, interesting. Second is interactive. So since I have already lost 10 minutes, I am supposed to be keeping quiet. Shut up and get out in 1 hour. My guru told me one thing. If you know when to shut up and you should know when to get out, you are a successful person. So I know my time limits. So in the next 40, 50 minutes that I have, let me tell you, I'll make Chanakya interesting for you. And after that, if you have questions, remaining 20 minutes will do Q&A. If you have questions, don't create questions. And how many of you heard about Chanakya? I'm happy there are so many people who are not yet. So that gives me an opportunity. Even if you know Chanakya, I'm going to make him so interesting that you will actually do research about him after I'm gone. My teacher used to tell me, who is a good teacher? Not a good student. Who is a good teacher? A good teacher is the one who creates the interest in the student in such a way that they start learning the subject after the class. True or no? So after this 1 hour interaction, if you go and search on Google or YouTube more about Chanakya, my work is done. So with that, let me start creating an interest of Chanakya. Many of you heard about Chanakya, but you will see a different dimension today. But before I go into this, what is the impression you have about Chanakya? Remember, no right and wrong. You don't get any marks for right, and you will not be cursed or shouted at if you are wrong. Please understand, knowledge has to be explored. So what's your impression and understanding about Chanakya? Anybody? Strategist, great word. Next. Statesman. Advisor, okay. Guru, Teachers Day, happy Teachers Day. Scholar, student, teacher. Economist, okay. A politician. One at a time. Just raise your hands, yeah. Philosopher, yeah, okay. We are having this conference going on Chanakya's philosophy. Kingmaker. Just raise your hand. All of you are right, by the way. Economist, politician, okay. Balancing, okay, great balancer. Beautiful point. So you see, almost I got 9 to 10 points. But today what I'm going to be actually showing Chanakya is as a person who was a gamer. You like games? Sure? And I'll prove it to you. Don't think I'm only trying to, kuch bhi kya. My mother tells me not to play games. especially online, right? I'm not talking about jungli rummy. Can you start looking at Chanakya as a person who used gaming in the field of leadership? You will see that. But before that, I want to tell you how many of you are interested in gaming here? By the way, let me tell you this clearly, even if you're not, be aware of it. It's going to be a very, very big business. True or no? And this actually was taught to me by my wife. Don't think only husband-wife play games, huh? I learn a lot from her. By the way, she is also a PhD scholar. Her inputs are amazing. She's a Bharatanatyam dancer, teacher. She takes care of me also. See, remember one thing, whenever you get married, yes, you will, don't worry, your brothers will pressurize you. Out of many parameters, India has got a lot of parameters for marriage. One of the parameters is intellectual compatibility. Please understand this, I'm a very serious thing. Huh? Why? Because if one is intelligent, highly educated, which you are, the other is not. There are a lot of movies on that. I don't know the name of the movie, others that have given as a homework. How many Malayalis here? Okay, good. See, happy. Please watch Malayalam movies. They are very different and ahead of their times. If the Malayalis can help me with the name of the movie, I'll tell you the plot. The plot is, have you heard about a temple called Guruvayur? Okay. Have you ever been there for a wedding? Please watch on YouTube how weddings happen. It's interesting, no jokes. At one given time, 500 weddings. Huh? Muhurat Tithi ke time, they just call the name. Shekhar, ready. Amrita, ready. Took 2 minutes in front of the Lord, gone. Next, okay. Pratap, ready. Anushka, ready. Now, interesting, the movie starts with something strange. Prakash, ready. Amrita, ready. Got married. Then they realized, ye wo Prakash nahi hai. This is not that Amrita. Now, what to do? And you had taken that, Mangal Sutra, which in Malayalam is called Tali. In front of the Lord, gone. The whole movie is that 2 Prataps and 2 Amritas. But I'll tell you, it's an interesting movie because there is no intellectual compatibility among them. So the girl is a medical doctor who is supposed to get married to another medical doctor. But suddenly she realizes after marriage, he's a peon. Don't think it's her problem, uska bhi problem hai. And the other one, the doctor, gets married to a person from other strata of the society. Now here I'm not talking about economic strata. I'm talking about intellectual strata. You understand my difference? Please, anybody remembers the name of that movie? Malayalis. It's an old movie, that's why. But please Google it. Now why am I telling you that? With me and my wife, we are very happy because compatibility with the intellectual is very high. So I'll tell you a small story. One day she comes home and says, Radhakrishna. She tells me always, when you come inside the house, keep 2 things outside. One is your shoes, second is Chanakya. Don't teach me. Dunya ko Chanakya sikhao, mujhe mat sikhana. Secret of happy married life. Okay, now she one day told me, Radha, today I went to a place called as Ghatkopar. Anybody Mumbaikars here? So that's a small suburb. And we live in another suburb called as Mulund in Mumbai. She comes and tells me, I saw something very interesting. So what is interesting? In the railway station of Ghatkopar, she was traveling by train, there's a poster. Please understand, this is going to make or break your career, what I'm going to say right now. So I saw an interesting ad of a coaching class. Okay, what are they teaching? They're teaching gaming. Now, what comes afterwards is interesting. She tells, in that poster it is written, no fees for the whole 1-year course, and you start paying the fees after your starting salary is 5 lakh rupees per month. Possible? This is the gaming industry. So what they do is select students, They go through a process. They train and 100% guaranteed 5 lakh rupees a month. When I said, itna bhi pagal mat bana. Sometimes you have to disagree to understand more. It is later on, after 1 year, I realized she's true. Gamers are required in every field. Do you watch IPL? You know how many gamers are involved in that? It's a number of statistics. True or no? Harsha Bogle, you heard about him? Great friend of mine. In fact, he's not even a cricket player. He's an IIM Ahmedabad pass out. Again, husband, wife, Anita and Harsha. A lot of people did not like him when he became a commentator. Because the typical commentator are cricket players who are retired. True or no? And there comes Harsha Bogle, not from Hamari Biradari. He doesn't belong to our species. You may be intelligent, but you don't belong to us. You know how Harsha Bogle became famous? You want to know that? You know what he used to do? All these senior people said, oh, commentary do, paisa lo, lekin you are not us. We have won the World Cup, we have won this, we have won that, all that, And you are only analyzing. You know what Harsha Bogle did? Because anyway he has to do commentary, he's going to get his money. He said, let me do something different. So all these successful cricketers who became post-retirement commentators, they used to sit down and they used to discuss among themselves, okay, kaun next over dalna chahiye? So that's what the analysis is, right? And Harsha Bogle used to slowly sit down and say, anyway, they don't involve me in my discussion, right? So he's outcast. He used to go and sit with the cameraman and tell him, okay, remember one thing, when the second innings start, look at the camera from this angle. He used to go to the statistician and tell him, tell me the history in this particular ground, who was the first person to hit a century. So all these senior players are analyzing that the captain should make this guy the opening batsman. True or no? And let me tell you, cricket commentary is not about what is happening on the game, but what happens in between the games. Isn't it true? So Harsha Bogle, a management educator, comes and says, makes it very interesting. He brings in statistics. He brings in history of cricketers. And suddenly he is among the top there. Understand the difference? So today if you look at IPL, it's also about gaming. You should look at the graphs. You see in the third umpire. Look at the way the graphics go. So again, my lecture is not on gaming. My lecture is on Chanakya and gaming. Okay. So I want to now give you a new dimension, how you can think differently about your own career by understanding Chanakya. Do you play games? Again, it doesn't matter online or offline. Everybody plays games. What is the most important component in a game? Strategy, okay. Opponent, okay. Leadership, okay. Focus, effort. All of you are right, yet there is one answer everybody is forgetting. Strength, team spirit, everybody is right. Leadership, winning. Barabar, you are right, everything good, but did you win the game? Players are important, yes. Captain is important. Rules of the game is important, winning is important. We forgot one very important thing. Patience, okay. All of you are right, but one more important dimension. Done. Competitive strategy, understanding the opponent, okay. And today with technology you can see everything, right? Look at how this batsman is batting, or that footballer, Very important point. Pardon? To play honestly by the rules of the game. Market pressure, okay. We forgot one very important dimension winning any game of life. Who is your mentor? Who is your coach? Any football fans here? By the way, football is the biggest game in the world. There's a person, his name is Eric. Manchester United, Eric Ferguson. Heard the name? Homework, Google it. My son is a sports analyst. He tells me something interesting. If you want to make money in sports, don't become a player. be the owner of that sports team. So IPL wins the trophy, who makes the money? Nita Ambani. So coming back, yes, you are right. Actually, I've been very fortunate to be in the sports management field myself. So what is seen? Oh, Virat Kohli makes so much money, Rohit Sharma makes, they also make money. But the real one, strategy is very different behind the game. So today I'll be showing you a dimension of Chanakya, who is actually strategizing the whole game to win the game. Okay, so we'll start with the video. And before sports, where is the real game happening today? Apart from the sports fields. Politics, yes. War, okay. Getting job is also a game between three of us, okay. Agreed. So remember, why am I telling you gaming? Because you will have to win the game of life, not just crack exams. We'll take one field for the understanding, time is limited. The game of war between two parties, right? Two enemies. Let me start with a small video.
He is ruthless, determined, and deadly. He is Alexander the Great. In the 4th century BC, Alexander rules more than half the known world, but it's not enough. He wants more. Hungry to expand his empire, Alexander looks forward to his newest conquest, India. India at the time is divided into 16 regional kingdoms, each constantly fighting the other for dominance.
प्रश्न हिमालय से लेकर समुद्र पर्यंत सहस्त्रों योजन विस्तीर्ण भारत भूमि की रक्षा का है। यदि जनपदों के स्वामी होने के गर्व में भिन्न भिन्न जनपदों के शासक चूर रहे, तो वह दिन दूर नहीं जब विदेशी आक्रांता जनपदों को नष्ट कर अपना प्रभुत्व स्थापित कर लेंगे। अतः भारतवर्ष को अब एक राष्ट्र के रूप में संगठित होकर विदेशी आक्रांताओं का सामना करना पड़ेगा।
पर क्या भारत को पदाक्रांत करने का सामर्थ्य अलक्षेंद्र में है?
यदि अखंड भारत ने अलक्षेंद्र की चुनौती को स्वीकार किया तो यह असंभव है। पर यदि खंड खंड में बटे जनपदों ने अकेले हाथों अलक्षेंद्र को ललकारने का प्रयास किया तो यह संभव है। किसी गणराज्य या साम्राज्य की सुरक्षा से पहले आज प्रश्न राष्ट्र की सुरक्षा का है। उस राष्ट्र की जिसके गणराज्य भी अविभाज्य अंग है। अब कैकेय व कौरव, मगध व मालव को साथ साथ कंधे से कंधा मिलाकर भारत की सीमाओं की रक्षा करनी होगी।
आचार्य, तक्षशिला की सीमाओं की रक्षा करने का उत्तरदायित्व हमारा कैसे हो सकता है?
ये सीमाएं आपकी अपनी हैं।
पर तक्षशिला की राजनीति से गणराज्यों का क्या संबंध आचार्य?
हिमालय से लेकर समुद्र पर्यंत भारत एक है। उसकी पग पग भूमि हमारी अपनी भूमि है।
पर उस पर हमारा अधिकार तो नहीं है, न हम उससे लाभान्वित होते हैं।
यदि कोई आपके मस्तक पर आघात करे तो क्या आपके हाथ नहीं उठेंगे? क्या अपने मस्तक की रक्षा के लिए आपके चरण गतिमान नहीं होंगे? क्या आपकी बुद्धि आपकी रक्षा का प्रयास नहीं करेगी?
अवश्य करेगी।
आप उसी राष्ट्र के अंग है जिसका अभिसार व तक्षशिला मस्तक है गणमुख्य।
तुमने भीतर आने का दुस्साहस कैसे किया ब्राह्मण?
आपसे प्रार्थना करने आया हूं महाराज। अलक्षेंद्र नामक एक यवन योद्धा मिस्र व पार्स के साम्राज्य को उखाड़कर भारत की ओर बढ़ रहा है। तक्षशिला से उसकी संधि भी हो चुकी है। लक्षावधि लोगों के जीवन की रक्षा के लिए, राष्ट्र की रक्षा के लिए, भारत की रक्षा के लिए मैं आपसे सैनिक सहायता की भिक्षा मांगता हूं।
धनानंद के पास और भी काम है, मूर्ख।
मगध के स्वामी होने का गर्व है तुम्हें, पर विशाल भारत की सीमाओं के रक्षक होने का गर्व करना नहीं चाहते। मगध सम्राट भारत की मिट्टी चंदन है, इसे अपने माथे पर लगाओगे तो हर भारतीय तुम्हें अपने हृदय का सम्राट बनाएगा। भारत की सीमाएं तुम्हें पुकार रही हैं धनानंद।
शूद्रक गणराज्य मालव गणराज्य के साथ कंधे से कंधा मिलाकर यवनों का सामना करने के लिए वचनबद्ध होता है मालव गणमुख्य। शीघ्र ही शूद्रक गणराज्य का सैन्य बल मालव गणराज्य में पहुंच जाएगा।
शूद्रक व मालव गणराज्य ने सम्मिलित रूप से यवनों के संभावित आक्रमण का प्रत्युत्तर देने का निर्णय किया है।
With his victory at Hydaspes, Alexander the Great has taken his first step across the Indian frontier, but it is also his last. As he advances deeper into India, several states set aside their own rivalries and now stand united against the invader. At the next battle site, Alexander is confronted by 300,000 Indian troops. By now, Alexander's men can see that their leader's quest has turned into a suicide mission. They've been fighting long and hard, and mutiny is in the air. Alexander, always attuned to his men, ultimately surrenders to the will of his troops and heads south, returning to Babylon in modern-day Iraq. But his eastern adventure may have cost him his life.
Next homework for all of you. Please watch this. It's available on YouTube, 47 episodes. Allowed to do binge watching. Why am I telling you this? Because look at the whole context of Chanakya. He lived in 4th century BC. He was not a king. He did not have an army. But he defeated the greatest conqueror of all times. So somebody said it's strategy. And Chanakya has got thousands of strategies, not one or two. I'll just explain one of them. It is called Samadhana Dandabheda. Have you heard about that? In fact, I've written some of the 100 best sutras or strategies or formulas for success in life. Interestingly, today, Teachers' Day, we launched this book. So it's a soft launch for all of you. So I just want to tell you that, friends, I'm going to explain 2 or 3 points. That's it. And then we can interact. Interested in Chanakya? I shall not come to games. So there are many strategies. And if you're technically interested, there are so many courses that we do, online, offline. You can watch videos also. And our own Chanakya University will be conducting programs. You can join that later on. But I'll just talk about 2 or 3 strategies. Have you heard about Samadhana Dandabheda? Please understand, understanding the opponent is more important than playing the game. Somebody said, no, study the opponent. Yes. But remember, if you are the captain, you study the opponent. But if you have a coach, he will help you look at the opponent differently. Possible? So you have to study a lot about the opponent. So Samadhana Dandabheda is a very interesting strategy. Please read about it. There are many books have written on that. Or many subjects, experts have written on that. But remember one rule which Britishers played on us. Divide and rule. Have you heard about that? But Chanakya was ulta. Unite and rule. There are 16 regional kingdoms, they came together. Our problem is that we are talking about collaboration today, isn't it? But trained in competition. We were a generation where marks was equal to success in life. Are they? So don't worry, things are changing. And with the NEP, National Education Policy, and IKS, Indian Knowledge System, things are changing. Please remember, if you want to win the game of life, it is never a lonely game. If you play it alone, congratulations. You'll have all the mental problems in life. But if you want to really win the game of life, please watch Avengers. How many Marvel fans here? Did you see the shift from being one person to a group of people fighting the war? That is the real. In life, you don't have to fight the war alone. Chanakya always says this, one of the sutras. Never fight a battle alone. Take some friends along. So if you want to win the game of life, you need to understand it's never alone. Please also understand one is a friend and one is a mentor. Let's talk about another war. Mahabharat war. Who won the war? Sure? Which day did the war end? How many days? So when did they win the war? Obviously, 18th day, right? Dhoni, Mahendra Singh Dhoni ka World Cup winning chakka. So everybody remembers that, right? So always win the match at the end of that match, isn't it? Wrong. Mahabharata war was won by Pandavas before the war started, when Arjuna selected Krishna as his mentor. Never forget this. You should have friends, but you should also have a good mentor. I've been very fortunate to travel across the world. And you'll be surprised, whatever strategies you will learn, you'll be surprised the Indian culture teaches you more strategies than them. I remember, I don't remember the year, I think it's 2004 or 7. I think it was 7. I had gone to London Olympics. The greatest competition on earth, they say. I don't know. They say and I believe. And if you're interested in sports, please follow Olympics. And I was there and I was fortunate to represent the government of India. And we had the Doordarshan ka chairman, head of Doordarshan, All India Radio, because they had to cover all the sports. And we invited for the opening ceremony. Very grand. By the way, Olympics or World Cup is showcasing power, isn't it true? So don't think it's just about some sports. All the politicians will come, they'll inaugurate it, some photo, right? But I'll tell you something about Olympics. When you actually are a player in Olympics, you have to take an oath. Are you aware of it? That I will not cheat. Somebody said, no, you have to be truthful. So the sportsman has to take an oath that I will not cheat. Yes. And you'll be surprised in the Olympics now, there are 2 more oaths. The player has to take an oath that I will be sportsman, in the right spirit. So after the match, even if I lose, I will congratulate the other team, isn't it? Andar se jealousy, but bahar se smile. Pakistan ne mujhe haraya. So that's okay from but the rule book. You cannot show hatred. You have to show that. दिल में दर्द हो रहा है लेकिन दिल दिखा रहा है. But that's the sportsman oath. Do you know that 2 more oaths? One oath is that referee will not cheat. So that's why you are third umpire. Na? Today we trust technology more than human beings. It's okay. But in London Olympics, they introduced a third oath taken by the coach. I will not train my students wrongly. Are you aware of this? So मैं तो अच्छा खेलूंगा या खेलूंगी. I will not cheat. But the referee should not cheat. The referee has to be impartial, isn't it? I am from India, okay. Even if he hit a goal, I will not give a goal. Are? That's why the referee or the umpire has to be impartial. But later on they realized the sportsmen are good, the referees are good, but the coaches are not good. Possible? It's a warning for all the teachers. Huh? We have to teach them the right way of playing sports, isn't it? And winning sports also. So coming back, Mahabharata war was won in a very interesting scenario, not after the war started, actually before the war started, and when Arjuna selected, Krishna said, be on my side. Because when you're in war, you can't think. Isn't it true? There's so much activity, everything coming from all sides. You don't know. So everybody says strategy, strategy, strategy. Very, very true. But you can't think strategically in war or any game. True or no? Because then it's about speed. True or no? And unfortunately, most of the wars are on speed only. Only few games don't have speed. For example, chess is not a game of speed. Golf is not a game of speed. True or no? But the nature of most of the games are speed and perfection. But what about the person who is thinking? You always require a thinker to guide the player. And that's the coach. And Chanakya, as somebody said, was a kingmaker. He helped leaders to think efficiently to win the game. So with that, I will tell you something about gamification in Chanakya. He actually created games for leaders to win games. I will tell you how. Have you heard about simulation exercise? What is simulation exercise? You don't play or what? What is the meaning of simulation games? Create similar situations, right? For example, it is used in every particular field now. Let's say you want to create yourself trained to be a pilot. They don't make you sit in the aircraft. They create a scene, they create a cockpit, they have a screen, right? And then you actually sit there and think as if you are playing, right? That's simulation. So Chanakya said, you have to prepare your mind before you actually go to the game and play on the ground. So he created the world's first board game on strategy. It is called chess. Are you aware of it? Chess was created in India. But who created it? Chanakya. By the way, the game of chess existed before Chanakya also. But Chanakya perfected it for that generation. And still continuing. So, again, another homework. It's a movie, I think it's available on YouTube also. It's called Shatranj Ke Khiladi. Have you heard about the movie? Very interesting movie. There were two kings. By the way, before the Britishers left, India was not one nation. It was 550 princely states which came together after 1947. Sardar Vallabhbhai Patel. And before the Britishers came in, they used to fight against each other. Therefore, Sardar Vallabhbhai Patel was once asked, do you believe the British have the policy of divide and rule? He said, no. We divide ourselves and they rule. True or no? So don't blame them, they're gone. 77 years over. So interestingly, what happened? Chanakya said everybody should play a game before you actually play. So he created a game called chess. I'll talk about the chess later on. But in the movie, there are two kings. They invite each other to play games. But they forgot that they were playing the game of chess on a board, but the real enemy attacked. And they took over the kingdom. So you are playing a game for the real game, but they're still playing the game when the real game has started. You should understand when to play simulation and when to play the actual game. Chalo, 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 come on, it's time to play the game. Arey, wait, yaar. Now it's real application. So let me come back to the game of chess, because we're talking about gaming. You know what is the full form of chess? CHESS. Chariots, horses, elephants and soldiers. And by the way, you can Google it. I have one request. Don't believe Radhakrishna Pillai. Chanakya ke naam pe kuch bhi bolega. Please Google this. Do your own research. Because Chanakya himself says, if it is not logical, I am not convinced. Because after writing 22 books, everybody thinks I am an expert. I am not. I am still a beginner. But the game of chess is natural to Indians. That's why we are winning games, isn't it? But chess comes from CHESS. And I'll tell you how it is. Remember, this game of chess, which is called Shatranja, comes from the core word called as Chaturanga. Chaturanga, Panchanga, Saptanga. There are Sanskrit terms. Anga means parts. Chatur means, I read in the book called Chatur Chanakya. Chatur means intelligent also. But Chatur here is 4. So if you look at olden days, like you saw the war, there were 4 components of an army. Chariots, horses, elephants and, you may debate, sir, आजकल camel भी है. The camel got added when the game of Chaturanga and chess went to the Arab countries and then European countries. It's true. So what is happening is that if you start preparing your mind for an event that's going to come later on, you actually become a winner. There's a book I would suggest all of you to read. It's called Outliers. Heard the book? Note it down, homework, without exam. So any person who is a winner in any game, be it tennis, swimming or whatever, they found out by research, they have practiced for 10,000 hours. Imagine 10,000 hours of practice makes them a winner in that game. That's why practice. If you're into music, there's a riyaz and abhyas, right? So if you want to win exams, it's not very difficult. Just do abhyas again and again and again and again and again. Unfortunately, our education system till now is an examination system. Before the exam, I'm wise. After the exam, I'm wise. But during the exam, otherwise. I got a blackout. And what is the solution? Suicide, right? Nice solution. Please understand, yes, marks and exams are important, but strategic thinking is more important to win the game of life. And there's a joke, 10th standard exam. By the way, the maximum pressure for the students come from the parents. Isn't it true? And I know this generation of children, so what if I fail? Good, but don't fail. So there's this particular joke about 10th standard results, and parents think, at least in my generation, parents are not your generation, and never train your children like this. If you don't do well in 10th standard exam, you will never do good in life. Are? Mindset. It's called social psychology. So society thinks like that because 10th standard good marks means you go to science. You become an engineer or a doctor. True? And today is a generation you can mix match anything. By the way, it's very difficult to get into arts now, especially psychology. Isn't it true? So there's a joke about this 10th standard. Results came out. One girl was crying. One boy was dancing. So they went to the girl. What happened? I got only 99.3. The other girl got 99.5. So comparison in competition. They asked the boy, what happened? Pass ho gaya. How much did you get? 35. Pappu pass ho gaya. So he has been struggling to pass, finally passed. Is it the results that matter or the state of mind? So if you are getting too much dependent on external factors, you will never win the game. Today I don't want to go into details of war strategy because time is limited, but I want to tell you something interesting about the rules in the game of chess. How many of you play chess here? Even if you're not playing, you know there is a game called chess? Just to understand, okay. In fact, there's a friend of mine, he wrote a book on the rules of chess and the rules of war in the Artha Shastra. So anybody interested in that research, you can come to me separately. So let me compare. If you know the basic rules of the game of chess, you'll be surprised. It's a very different way of looking at war and competition. So let me ask you a basic question. Who is the most powerful, person in that game of chess? See, this is debate. Who is the most powerful person? Queen, some people call it Wazir, some people call it Pawn, the last soldier. But the reality is that the most powerful person is the king. Now coming back, you are right. Different powers for different people. Is the king powerful? Of course, he is the head of the state, right? But does he decide the moves? The most powerful person who can move crisscross is the queen, isn't it true? Right? So actually the strategy is not to defeat the king, but to take out the wazir. True or no? So all the gamers know that. Now coming back. Is the queen or the wazir the most powerful? Yeah, abhi to bola haan. You'll be surprised. Actually the game of chess shows us that it is actually the pawn, the soldier. Let's say you kill or defeat that wazir on the other side. Let's say I'm in white, you're in black. There's no black and white here. Huh? Just for understanding. Let's say I defeat or I will kill that wazir. Can he come back to life? No. But a pawn can come back to life as a wazir. So the most powerful person is not the king. How many moves does he have? Powerful होगा लेकिन कुछ आता नहीं. बैठे रहे उधर. See how power, we don't understand. So a lot of people are on the top, but they can't do anything. So I ask you this question in Hindi. Raja bada ya Senapati bada? It's a very deep question. Huh? See, when you go higher in your career, you'll understand all these power games. Now you'll not understand. Abhi to pass okay placement. But once you get placement, Chanakya starts. Who is more powerful? The king or the Senapati? Come on, see. You'll be surprised. The word Pati means leader. Rashtrapati, Ganapati, Ganonka Pati is a group leader. That's why you invoke him first in every puja. Senapati is actually more powerful than the king. The king is symbolic. Is the prime minister big or the president is big? How many for president? Technically, all of you are right. He or she is the supreme commander of the 3 armed forces. The prime minister technically reports to the president. Are you aware of it? The chief justice of India has to report to the president. That's why my role model president, apart from Abdul Kalam and many others, is Pranab Mukherjee. We have missed out him. Physically, he's no more there, but his strategies were very good. Please study him. Homework. So coming back, the Senapati is actually more powerful than the king. The Senapati controls the whole army. True or no? And the king is symbolic. Baitha udhar. So the prime minister, I don't know who is more powerful. You debate. Can the prime minister do everything on his own? He requires a presidential approval, including demonetization. You cannot do this. So what I'm saying that you have to understand structures in any game or any particular format. Now coming back, imagine the last person, ordinary soldier who can only move like this, one step at a time. And he can only kill one person cross. Kya naseeb hai uska? But look at it, he can actually become the head of the army. He has to kill himself to become a leader. And this is not just a rule. This happens in many countries. यहाँ पे क्या हो गया है? Because of the British administration, you have officer and the men, isn't it? So soldiers and officers. If you have any relatives in the army, you'll come to know. So it's like, okay, I'm the boss, aane ka nahi. So the officers will have different canteen. The sailors, the soldiers will have different canteen. Isn't it true? Because the officers came from the British army. So they want to keep the distance. You should not listen to my strategy. But many people don't know who was Hitler. Who was Hitler? He was an ordinary soldier. The technical term for that is corporal. But did he become the Senapati? Yes. So system decides who becomes the Senapati. Yeah? And he became the head of the country also. See, we are lucky to be actually born and understanding what is called a non-military led nation. Just go to neighboring states, you'll understand. But in Germany, a corporal can also become the Senapati and the leader. So coming back to the game of chess, you understand that everybody has got equal powers. But now comes that, we miss out on the last person. He can also become the Wazir or Senapati. I want you to watch a movie, another homework. Troy. Have you ever seen it? One of the best war movies I've ever seen. True? It's based on a Senapati versus the king war. It is based on a great hero called as Achilles. It's from the Greece culture. The great famous book in Greece called as Helen of Troy. Please watch the movie, one of the most fantastic movies, worth a watch. So the king is not good, but the Senapati is good. And what a Senapati, he will always win the war. So remember one thing, if you become leaders, your number 2 leader is more important than the number 1. That doesn't mean the last person cannot become a leader. If he or she has the capability, you can become a leader also. The perfect example of Chanakya's life is Chandragupta Maurya. not born in a leadership family, no dynasty politics. They said that he was a Dasi Putra. That means his mother was an ordinary, from a humble background, but he had leadership qualities, trained and became the Samrat of India. I come from an ordinary background. So what if you're ordinary? Only ordinary, if trained well and mentored well, can become extraordinary leaders. Chanakya proved this. Okay, 2 more points from the game of chess, and we'll take up questions. How much advantage the opponent has over you in the game of chess? Is the number of players of the winning team different from the number of players from the losing team? No. For example, the game of cricket, how many players does one team have? 11, with extras, right? How much does the opponent have? No, they're winning team. They should have 2 players extra. Aisa hota nahi hai. Rules are always the same. Number of players are always the same. Yet, the winners are the one who don't have extra players, but they have better strategies. True? Understand all these things. Because in game of life, don't cry. I'm coming from a poor background. He comes in Mercedes. So what? So what? Remember one thing, it is not resources. It's your intellectual capability to win the game. And by the way, God has given enough intelligence to everybody, and Indians are blessed specially. थोड़ा ज़्यादा IQ. कहाँ से मिला? Genes में. So it doesn't matter where you come from, but the question is where you want to go. And play the rules accordingly. Okay, last point in the game of chess. What is the last move in which you say, I'm a winner? What is it called? Sure? What happens in checkmate? See, respect to the other leader. Many people don't understand this. If you have won the game, still you don't kill the king. True or no? Can the king be killed in the game of chess? No, he can be defeated. There's a difference between defeating the opponent and killing the leader of the opposition team. That's why the last move is called checkmate. It is not called, tumhara sar kaad diya. Arey? That is the respect you give. And a lot of people get confused. That is why you have to go back to that very interesting story about Sikandar and Porus. Alexander came, he defeated, he caught Porus, and then he asked a question, how should I treat you now? See, you are my prisoner. What was his answer? How a king deals with another king. Alexander comes from a different culture, right? What do you mean by how a king? I should treat you like a king. I will treat you like a prisoner. No, it is not allowed. Even if you have won the game, you should never make the other person low down. I'll give you an example on my own life. I don't know if you read any of my books. So there are a lot of books I written. This is book number 22. But my first book is interesting. It's called Corporate Chanakya. And that time, nobody believed in Chanakya. I'm talking about 15 years ago. But I required funds. Shadi shuda aadmi hu na. And pagal hai. I'm a researcher by passion. And there's a saying in India. What is that? Brain drain. Have you heard about it? Somebody said in IIT Bombay. It is better to have brain drain rather than having brain in the drain. I got so many offers to go and join many universities in US. But Bhagwan ne bola idhar hi acha hai. And I'm happy by that. But kya kare? Paisa lagta hai na. I remember I had this, what is called dharma sankat, to go to US or no. Because they pay you a lot. There's a respect for intelligence and intellect, isn't it? Start a company in India and start a company there. You'll understand the difference. So I was struggling. Finally, I decided to jate. But I always have this good blessings on me. Before taking any decision in life, I'll discuss with my friends, and the final chapa will come from my guru, mentor. And they always saved me. So I discussed with one of my friends. I think I'm going to leave for US. So why you're leaving for US? So nobody understands Chanakya. I've been struggling, trying to convince people that India has got great culture, all those things. I'm planning to write a book, do a research project. But in India, there is no ecosystem, there is nothing. You know what he asked me? How much money you want? How much money you want? I said, wow. So you'll fund my research? Well, of course, come to office, we'll discuss it. And he gave me whatever lakhs of rupees I wanted, no questions asked. But I was afraid. I went back to him and said, are you funding me for what reason? Saying that because you're doing such a wonderful work, I'll fund you, don't worry about it. But I had a very different, I would say, not ego, but dignity. Just because you're given money doesn't mean I have to be like, yes boss, yes boss. I asked him one interesting question. How will you treat me after I take your money? You know what he told me? The way a king will treat another king. He said, you're already a director at one institution. You come into my company as a director. Nothing less. Good or bad? So remember one thing, don't have ego but have dignity. So coming back, even if you defeat somebody, don't show, I'm better than you. Remember one thing, nobody is better or bad. It only time ka matter hai. The greatest kings will fall and an ordinary person can become a king. True or no? So that's the leadership lesson. So I just want to wind up over here by telling you friends, when you look at Chanakya, you will be surprised that so much about ethics in war. But unfortunately we forget one thing. We can be ethical, but if samne wala is not ethical, then what? I'm ethical, I'm nice. But the person attacking me is not ethical. Then what do you do? Then you give up your ethics. That is the time you require a mentor. So, if you are the best batsman, doesn't mean you will win the game. If you have the best strategy also, you will not win the game. If you have the best skill also, you will not win the game. If you have the best mentor to help you in the skill and the dharma sankat, you will win the game. Therefore, it is always said, be the best in your field, but have a mentor who will correct you, even if you are the best. The last example I have to stop here with is, again, Krishna and Arjuna. Arjuna was already the best warrior. True or no? Of his generation. You remember that? Bina dekke, he could, all that. But the best skilled person also can have what is called dharma sankat, right? But here is Krishna who says, wait. And then we'll do this and strategies and all those things. So friends, develop your skill, develop your intellect, but never forget that till the end of your life, you will require somebody to mentor you. So you have your teachers, don't leave them after the course is over. Huh? Your teachers can continue to guide you lifelong. So just to quickly summarize, in the game of life, the winners are the one who practice very well, think strategically very well, have the guidance of mentorship, and finally, never rest till you become the winner number one. Remember this, I remember Shah Rukh Khan, we had a meeting, he was telling, he's also interested in sports. IPL Kolkata team he owns, remember? So I don't know if you follow IPL, because I follow a lot of sports activities. In one of the IPL seasons, Kolkata Knight Riders were last. Remember that? And the next season they were the top. And I remember the press meet that we had gone for. Somebody asked Shah Rukh Khan, media na, they want, well, is baar to kam se kam top 5 mein aayenge kya? You are the last among 10 teams, right? So better performance, at least come to 9, 8, 6, kam se kam 5 mein aayenge kya? You know what he told? This time we'll win the IPL. So I said, overconfidence. He spent the whole year with them. And then he said something very profound. And that has been my mantra for life. He said, Shah Rukh Khan's grandfather told him, you never win a silver medal. You actually lose a gold medal. So never be happy with number 2. Jeetna hai to number 1 and only number 1. And this number 1 is called as Vijigishu in Chanakya's terminology. I know for many people it may be a new word. There are many new words, but remember this. A world conqueror. A leader who is number 1 in that field. So become a Vijigishu in your life. Thank you so much.
Good evening, sir. My name is Haripriya. And my question is, since Chanakya is such a good mentor for Chandragupta Maurya, who was mentor for Chanakya?
Very good question. His father. So Chanakya's father's name was Chanak. Chanaka Putra Chanakya. And he was a mentor to his own son. I hope you get mentored by your own parents and grandparents. Remember one thing, every generation will have a generation gap. But Chanakya learned from his father and became better than his father. So his mentor was his father.
Thank you, sir.
All this you can see in the serial. Chanakya by Dr. Chandraprakash Dwivedi. Homework for you. In fact, Dr. Chandraprakash Dwivedi, who played the Chanakya role, is part of our advisory committee. So next time he comes, please make sure you watch him, okay? Directly, not the video one. So when you go out, learn from each other. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for such an inspirational talk. In fact, he is one person that all of us keep looking up to, and we have been, as faculty members, following him on LinkedIn, and every book that he's been writing, I have been fortunate enough to follow you with your books, sir. And we should congratulate him. A big round of applause. He's launched his new book today. This is the book that we have put up on the background. And I'm sure our library has a couple of copies of each of his books, and you should be reading it. And what a great time for the youngsters like you to listen to a walking Chanakya of the 21st century. Thank you so much for being here with us. I request our Dean, Dr. V. Rajesh Kumar, the Dean of School of Commerce and Management, to give the presidential remarks.
Respected Dr. Radhakrishna Pillai, sir, my faculty colleagues and student friends. This was around 2010-2011. I chanced upon book which Dr. Pillai mentioned, Carpe Chanakya, and being a management faculty, first page when I read, I got so hooked up, and trust me, I understood management in 1-2 days of reading the book, whatever I had learned for 15-20 years actually. I mean, trust me, the minute you start reading it, it is so engrossing, and the kind of learning that you get. I was so thrilled reading the book. It has 3 segments: management, leadership, training, anything what you need to know about managing a business. So encapsulated on the words of Chanakya, but actually I feel it's words of Dr. Pillai. Around 2014-15, if I'm right, I had the opportunity to watch an interview of Sir in a television channel, and so mind-blowing. He was explaining so many models from Chanakya's works on what can be done in business entity, how a business can be taken much beyond our imagination just with Chanakya's models. So wonderful. And as Dr. Bhavani mentioned, for any faculty related in commerce and management, where like is Ekalavya Shishas and is a Dronacharya, so much influence he has on every person who is in business. I'm really thrilled that after so many years that I'm able to meet him and and share some thoughts along with him. Chanakya's works, there is no end what we can learn. In fact, there is a saying, if I want to speak for 3 days, I prepare for 3 minutes. To speak for 3 days, 3 minutes, I prepare for 3 days. What Chanakya has worked, in 15, 20 minutes, 30 minutes, what Sir has given, imagine the kind of work that he has done, and short period, the kind of interest he has created in us to know about Chanakya. While Chanakya's work, there are so many takeaways for me, there are a lot more takeaways from Sir. Trust me, wherever in the world, when Chanakya name is mentioned, Dr. Radhakrishna name is synonymous. People get the name Dr. Radhakrishna Pillai whenever Chanakya name is mentioned. It's so popular, and because his work has taken him to that. And in my interaction yesterday and today, what I gathered is a couple of things. To be what he is, a great achiever, few things matter. One among them, the passion he has to learn. And Sir was sharing an experience yesterday. His first interest in Chanakya was created when he watched the television serial Chanakya. As the Sir mentioned, Chandraprakash Dwivedi, Sir, Dr. Chandraprakash Dwivedi, who acted and directed in the serial as a member of our board of governors. We'll be getting him one of these days, and you can interact with him as well. Looking at the serial, Sir got interest and he wanted to learn. So went all the way to Kerala to learn from a guru. And when Guru asked him, what brought you here? Sir said, I want to learn about Kautilya. So the Guru said, it's not Kautilya, Kautilya. And to quote what Sir mentioned, from the time I could not even pronounce the name properly, today 22 works Sir has produced, imagine the time that he has spent and the passion he has to know about one person and one of his works for that matter. So today, if Dr. Radhakrishna Pillai is recognized, it's purely his passion to know about something, about some person, and that's where he is today. 2, always you have seen him so cheerful, so pleasant, so humorous. In fact, when I saw him in the interview almost 8-9 years back, I feel exactly he is the same. Sir, if Chanakya has given any mantra for anti-aging, I think you should share that also with us, sir, actually. And more importantly, so friendly, so humble, the humility that he brings in, anybody who connects with him feels so friendly, so easy to connect with. And I feel whatever he is today, I mean, all this adds to that. I think for all of us, it's a great takeaway. It says, a good teacher is one who shows where to see but not what to look. And on this occasion of Teachers' Day, I don't think, sir, we could have had a better Teachers' Day than this. We're really blessed to have you with us. Really inspired us and our students. As Sir mentioned, all of us need a mentor in our life, and we're fortunate to have found Sir as our mentor for Chanakya University. Sir, it was truly a great pleasure having you with us, for making time to address our students and sharing your thoughts. Thank you so much, sir. I know we had time, we could have heard from you more and more. Time was a constraint, but thanks for making this happen, sir. Thank you so much.